Hello and welcome to the Understanding Narcissists YouTube channel. Thanks for joining me. If there were ever a controversial topic or a stance of mine that would generate controversy, it would definitely be this. And it's my view of the other side of the narcissistic equation, why narcissists are so successful, and that is the enablers. The enabler, which may be you. It certainly has been me in the past. I have a tendency towards enabling bad behavior. Now, where the controversy comes from is that my experiences have led me to take a pretty hard stance on enablers. And if you've seen some of the dissent on this channel, I think it's constructive. I'm not trying to put it in a negative way, but the dissent and the detractors to a lot of the things I say, it's that I'm a little too easy on the narcissists. And depending on how you look at that, it's probably true. It's probably 100% true. I'm not going to deny that. But it might very well be because I'm harder on the enablers. Now, I haven't talked about enablers and other dependent types on this channel in any great depth yet. That's because it's a whole other side, and I want to introduce it slowly. I guess by this video. I've talked about them to some extent, in some detail, but I haven't talked about the general theory, so to speak, how everything works and goes together. And that's because the enablers aren't more complicated than the narcissists, but they introduce all kinds of stuff that I am afraid will muddy a basic understanding of narcissism. It's the next step, which is understanding your shortcomings, my shortcomings, are problems that, as I see it, unfortunately not only allow narcissists to do what they do and be as successful as they are at it, but continue to do it and drive them, even help them, empower them to hurt more people, especially ourselves, probably from a low self-worth and low self-esteem and a little self-hatred going on, or more than a little. Why I'm so adamant and patient but adamant in getting people to realize that is because it's the only way to get better. It's the only way I know of that'll lead you to a cure and a prevention. And I guess the cure is a prevention in and of itself, but that thinking, that mindset is the only thing that will get you there. And that is to stop being food for the manipulative. Stop being food for narcissists. It's a long process. That's a simple statement that I just gave you, but it's a long and difficult process because now we have to do the thing that we haven't been doing. We've been indulging in the illusion and supporting the narcissist and propping them up to no end oftentimes. There might be a line we draw, but do we let them cross it? Yeah, it seems to me that we do too much. And that getting to a place where you are no longer a victim, and not just to them, but to your own bad decisions, like letting them get away with it, like allowing them to indulge in this kind of excessive dysfunction, and then you joining in on it too and kind of getting your piece of it, because what they want you to do is become a part of this illusion so that it's sustaining you as well. Not as much as them, it's all about them, but they want to get you in on that as well, so you have a strong incentive to keep it up because you're the only one who can keep it up. This view is simply not pervasive enough. I don't want it to be circulated around and then forced on you because you have to reach it yourself. It's a deeply personal and internal thing. It's a reflective thing. And if you are determined, you will get there eventually, depending on just how adamant you are about recovery and reversing the damage a narcissist has done to you because of choices you've made. That has to come from a lot of reflection, because it simply doesn't happen without the enabling complex that you have going on, the enabling role that you so naturally take on, and not only take on and accept, but look for and assume as soon as possible. Because it's not just them coming after you. They cast a wide net, but you go towards them. It is a mutual attraction. And I'm not even getting into the romantic side of it. This can be in any capacity. I try to generalize that first. The romantic side has other things, but it's the same exact thing. It's the same thing. It may be more intense in a romantic setting, but it's not in any, I don't think it's different. It's the same process I'm describing here between friends, coworkers, lovers, whatever. It really doesn't matter. It's just a way of relating. It's a way of carrying through this expression that we have within us. And they allow that. They invite it. Now, it happens to be very dysfunctional and very destructive to yourself and to them. Now, you can't assume responsibility for them, but what you can do is allow yourself to be responsible for the destructive things that you're supporting. And that does include them. Now, I generally don't include them in the loss of well-being and happiness that their destruction causes. However, it takes two to tango. It simply doesn't work without the enabling partner, the enabling side, or the enabling group. So as I introduce this idea, this is the groundwork, this is the foundational stuff, as I go on and talk about the enabler's relationship with the illusion, the enabler's stake in the illusion, the enabling dynamics within a family. Very, very complex, very extensive how it works. Now, luckily, there's some simplification that can be done because narcissists really don't get a whole lot bigger than the family or a particular group. So they do adhere to general patterns and things make sense. Over time, you can see these patterns. You know how everything works and you can see your part in it. And that's that crucial difference. You can see the part in it. See, they're running because they know something is terribly wrong, but they can't accept it. You are similar. But the difference is, and I don't know why this is, you can accept it. You can learn. And you are more connected to that emotional dysfunction, that process, than they are. Why that is, I'm not sure. But from observation, I've never seen a narcissist improve. But I've seen countless enablers improve. I want to say most of them. Probably not the case. But a lot of them. When they get to a certain stage, once they get into the stage of accepting how the narcissism works, and that's why I'm always really forcing the understanding aspect of narcissism, because that starts it. There's so much more other than that. There's so much more following that. But if somebody can understand narcissists, they're going to get out eventually on their own. It's not going to be pleasant, it's not going to be painful, but they will improve their life. If they don't understand narcissism, there's a possibility they never will. They will never get out. They have to reach that point. And then it's just a question of how long. Some people may be more resistant to it, to the recovery process, and really, even before then, the realization of what's going on. and an acceptance of narcissism as something that is indeed real and exists and is happening all the time as a defect, but that once that starts, it really can't be stopped. There can be relapses of a sort, but the force that pulls you away once you've reached the point of actually considering the whole sort of program that I've described, the whole process, then you're on your way, no matter whether you like it or not, no matter what, because the game has now changed. They will change, and things in an attempt to stop you from getting away, and that will inevitably propel you further because they will get worse, and then they will further prove that narcissism is indeed what's going on. And then you're going to get out. But the understanding part is the crucial part. But it's often the part that people don't want to hear. They often want to get, okay, there's something wrong. Now how do I get away? Which is important, but you have to understand it in a greater depth. I wish that weren't the case. I just find it to be beneficial. But as I go forward, talking about co-enabling and, well, I said an interesting thing there, co-enabling. That's a different thing. But the enabling, we'll just start with the enabler, the enabling behavior that takes place as really the start of it. Because they're going to be around no matter what. I don't know how to stop. I think things can reduce the amount of narcissists in the world and make for happier people, including the narcissists themselves, especially the narcissist, to not be afflicted. But right now, where all of that starts, it begins with you. And I don't want to assume too much, but taking on enabling behavior, what causes the enabling behavior, going deeper now into what's generating that and getting a full view of that, and often looking at previous, your own past and previous parts of your life and your upbringing and things like that, and more, then that's that process I want to begin now. It's not going to be terribly fun. It's not going to be easy, exactly. It's inevitable. You can move along, but it's so painful. It's such a painful process. But the light at the end of the tunnel, it's so much better. It's really not a life at all when you're around a narcissist. So I've always seen as you don't really have a choice. That's the only way to go. Everything else is an illusion. You can't relapse back in the illusion. Things aren't going to go back to normal. Things are not going to be okay. Because as far as I know, you can't cure narcissism. Not as of yet. But you can cure yourself. And I hope this video was insightful and useful. I hope you found it informative. Share it with somebody you think might benefit. Comment in the comment section below. And thank you so much for watching. And I'll see you in the next video. And like the video too, if you liked it. Bye.